Hello everybody, and today we were doing What If Deku Was a Hacker? Part 1. Also guys, thank you a lot for the 1 hour of Snowman from the Dream SMP animatic, getting 4.5 thousand views, most on the channel by quite a big margin. Thank you guys. Also, we're at 750 subs, 75% of our big goal of 1,000. Thank you guys. And yeah, so, on to the video.
We did everything right, now I'm on the outside.
Okay. Okay, guys. So, we start this what if off when Deku was 2. He was living with both of his parents at the time. And yeah, so one day when Izuku was talking with his mother, Inko, when they're all done playing, goes to Izuku and says, "Why don't you go play with your father?" As Izuku quickly runs up the stairs to go to his father, but Izuku is quickly met with Hisashi typing on his computer very fast, and Izuku just looking through the crack of the door sees a black screen with a bunch of green numbers being typed in onto it, and Hisashi with some weird mask on him, and Izuku's like, "What's Dad doing?" As he eventually opens the door like, "What are you doing, Dad?" As Hisashi quickly tells him to leave, as Izuku quickly leaves like, "That looks so cool, he typed in all those big numbers." I want to be just like him someday. And the next day, Izuku, Inko, and Hisashi went to go get groceries. But something happened on the way back. The family was attacked by a villain, a very strong one. And when it was attacking all three of them, with its sponge quirk, we'll say, it quickly absorbs the attack of Inko trying to use a little knives at it, but that fails. And Hisashi steps back and starts putting his fingers on this little green thing that appeared randomly on his arm, and Izuku is fascinated with it, like, "Whoa, that looks so cool." As the villain gets a big word that Izuku can't read across its arm, and the villain can't use its quirk anymore, and Hisashi then uppercuts it in the face, knocking the villain out and taking it to police care. And yeah, Hisashi's quirk is a hack quirk, obviously, so it makes sense. And yeah, also the next day, when Hisashi was coming home from work, there was a car accident, and Hisashi died. And Izuku, watching the news with his mother, as the news says, "Local businessman found dead in his car after car crash. 1 hurt, 1 killed." The name of said victim would be Hisashi Midoriya, and he had a wife and a child, Inko Midoriya and Izuku Midoriya. So, my best condolences to them. This is your local news, signing off. Bye. As Izuku starts crying, he's like, "Dad?" As Inko just hugs him and says, "It'll be alright, Izuku." As 8 years later, when Izuku was 12, he had a quirk by now. It was his same dad's hacking quirk, but a lot more advanced. He could even probably hack All Might if he tried. Maybe. But Izuku right now wasn't in the best condition. His stepfather wasn't the most nice to him. And Inko was always at work, so it was usually Deku and his stepfather, which he would usually completely neglect Izuku. And Izuku would just be left in his room to do whatever he wants. And yeah, Izuku also developed the habit of hacking into systems to get money because, his family's kind of very tight on money ever since their literal cash source died. And right now, Izuku wasn't in the best state of mind either. He was a little depressed, and he would usually wait for his mother to come home, but she never talked to him much anymore. So, 5 years later, when Izuku graduated on his online education, because why not? Instead of being a hero, he wanted to follow some other path. Because with his quirk, he would never, at least he felt, get into hero school. So, Izuku one day went out to see what he wanted to do with his life. And while he was walking, he saw a man in an All Might suit, but it was a sweater. And he was fighting some mysterious villain with his group. And he defeated the villain, but the cops quickly chased after them. And when they were running away, the cops called them vigilantes. And Izuku's like, so a discount hero. That sounds fun. As he quickly sees somebody with this very cool jacket and bag and kicks them in the face, roundhouse kicking them, and takes all their stuff. And Izuku's like, yeah, I don't care, as he quickly runs away. And with the small little cash he did have, he bought some food from the dollar store and got some for him. And after he got some food and ate up, he went out on duty. And most cops at the time would assume that Izuku was a full-fledged hero because some heroes were quite short, as you'd imagine, and some were just starting out. So Izuku looked like a normal one. But he did look a bit shady, having his hood donned and a little shoulder bag. We're not saying purse, guys. We are not saying purse. And Izuku, seeing this, thought that maybe I could do something with this, as he quickly runs over to a cop like, is there any disturbances in the area? As the cop is like, yes, there is. There is a fight currently downtown. We need as much heroes as we can. There is this villain called All for One fighting All Might right now. As Izuku's like, All Might, that name sounds familiar. As he quickly dashes towards the situation. And when he gets there, he sees this man in white hair fighting All Might. And Izuku immediately jumping in, and All Might's like, stay out of this, hero. I can handle this. And Izuku immediately hacks All for One, obviously. And All for One, trying to use one of his strength-enhancing quirks to hit All Might, it's a normal hit. And that's when Izuku kicks him into a wall like, I can help you also, All Might. As All Might's like, impressive. What's your quirk? As Izuku's like, my quirk is hack. I can hack someone's abilities and completely shut their quirk down. That includes literally everybody. And I can sometimes do a special thing. And that's all you need to know for now. As All Might's like, understood. So, is he down? And All Might's like, there's no way. As All for One gets back up like, why can't I use my quirk? As his arm just won't budge at all. And it says hacked, engraved in all caps in green on his right arm. And his right arm is also completely paralyzed. And Izuku's like, good, that was a tight one. And All Might quickly punches him in the face back into that wall. And he goes through an entire building, actually. And All Might, jumping right back through it, starts beating down on All for One, like, this is for Nana, Master, and everybody you slaughtered, as he starts beating into All for One. And Izuku, watching this from a distance, is like, I think I might have done enough. That should last for about 3, 2, 1. As a massive shockwave goes through the air, and All for One, quickly regenning, is like, that pest. And he looks back to All Might, who wasn't expecting the shockwave, so he'd been a little hurt from it. And Izuku, coming back over, is like, of course. As he quickly puts down a little device, which he liked to call a translocator. And he tapped something on his little jacket that he thought was nifty. And it was 3 knives that came out of a department. And he's like, what kind of jacket was this man rocking? As Izuku quickly throws them at All for One, which all get into his neck, and he's like, what the heck? As he quickly feels a sharp pain in his neck, and it was actually very poisonous knives. And Izuku's like, I must have robbed the best jacket person ever, because he was quite strong with this jacket. As Izuku also hacks All for One again. And Izuku just starts beating All for One until he's unconscious. So Izuku is like, I just defeated the number 1 villain. Yes. As All Might's like, so kid, are you a registered hero, or like, what's your name? As Izuku's like, oh, my name's Techno, and I'm a vigilante. As All Might, his smile quickly depletes, like, oh. As Izuku's like, yeah, bye-bye. As his body quickly warps back to where he used to be. And All Might's like, of course, that's how one gets away. As he breaks All for One's left arm just to make sure. And he throws All for One in jail. And that will be quite major plot points later, guys. And yeah, one sec. Continuing off, so around 2 years later, Izuku had a good amount of money from just supporters who, whenever they would, whenever Izuku would help them, they'd also give him money because they knew who he was. He was Techno. And Izuku, after 2 years of this, had gained a lot of strength, and he'd gone on to some websites, and he was the top-ranked vigilante on an unofficial website, obviously. And he was considered to be the number 8th strongest hero, quote unquote, in Japan. And yeah, Izuku was quite ecstatic about this. Like, I'm so happy someone puts me that high on their list. As he quickly chomps into his Big Mac. And Izuku's like, I'm so surprised I'm still this skinny. As he quickly gets up as he hears a scream across town. With his very advanced now suit that he got from a buddy. And he throws his translocator as far as he can. And he actually teleports right in front of the crime scene. He's like, that was nice. As a sludge villain is attacking this blonde-haired kid. And Izuku immediately hacks the villain, and the villain just literally gets into a pool of slime, and Izuku's like, okay. As he takes around 8 minutes to eventually find 3 water bottles that were empty. And the sludge villain still being in this puddle because he'd grown stronger with his hacks. And Izuku quickly put his, the sludge villain into the bottles. And when he closed all their caps, All Might arrived on the scene like, oh, it's you, Techno. And Izuku's like, well, you should be thanking me. I helped you in that fight 2 years earlier. And All Might's like, I had him. All you did was nearly endanger yourself. And Izuku's like, I deactivated his quirk. What do you mean endangered myself? You were about to be destroyed. Flashbacks of All Might on the ground, about to be literally punched into oblivion by All For One. And All Might's like, but you aren't even a registered hero. And Izuku's like, I don't really care though. As Izuku, seeing one of his emergency translocators flipping the switch on, like, so what do you want? I saved the kid. As All Might's like, I want you to come with me and we can work something out, maybe. As Izuku's like, I don't think that's how this works. And you can take the kid, and I can be on my merry way. As Bakugo, being a fan of Techno, actually pulls out some cash and gives him like $30, and Izuku's like, oh, thank you. As he quickly pockets it. And I'll keep this in mind, guys. Izuku is aged 3 years behind from in the main story. So, say Bakugo is 17. Wait, no, I phrased that wrong. He's 3 years older in this series. So, Izuku is currently 20. And when the fight happened... Hold up. No, it's a 5-year time skip. Anyway, yeah, just for canon lore, because 5 years since the All For One versus All Might fight. Just clearing this up in my head. So, Izuku fought All For One when he was 15, became a vigilante at 15, and has lots of supporters now at 20. Just want to clear any of that out before someone attacks me in the comments because they did not listen to this entire thing while I rant. Anyway, yeah, on to the video. Izuku just looks over to All Might like, well, I don't want any trouble, sir. As he pushes Bakugo to in front of him, and he's like, well, bye. As All Might's like, wait. Don't run. You are a little fugitive of the law. You have stolen from somebody 5 years ago. And Izuku's like, I stole somebody's jacket 5 years ago. What do you want from me, mate? As All Might's like, that's still a criminal offense. You're considered a villain in the law's eyes. As Izuku just like, oh, so that's where this is going. As he taps on his translocator and is warped back, and All Might just growls like, of course, I couldn't even get to my point. And Izuku, at his facility, is like, oh, that was interesting. As his assistant quickly runs over to him like, are you okay, sir? As Izuku's like, oh, yeah, I'm fine, Dave. As, is the new technology working? As Dave's like, yes, it's working perfectly. As Izuku quickly puts on the new jacket and taking the old one off. And Izuku's like, so it has the feature I wanted. And Dave's like, precisely. As Izuku goes into the testing room, and a fighting robot comes out of the doorway, and Izuku taps on a button, and the robot just says, enemy not found, enemy not found, enemy not found, as Izuku has turned invisible. And Izuku is like, oh my gosh, he actually did it. As Dave, getting Izuku out of the jacket quickly is like, so it seems it works, yes? And Izuku's like, it works amazingly. The top tier robot we even trained up couldn't see me. And Dave's like, yeah, I'm amazing, I know. And yeah. So, Izuku is like, well, I'm going to go to spy for some intel, because there's this guy I met today at work, and I think he wanted me to do something for myself, but I clearly had something opposite in mind. But I'll go along with his plan without him knowing. That man was All Might. As Dave's like, oh really? How do you escape? Oh right, the translocator. And Izuku's like, precisely. So, I'm going to go undercover to UA. I'll learn how to use my quirk better. I'll put a fake name, fake ID, all that. And they'll never know I'm 3 age over the limit. And yeah, I'll get some intel on what's happening in there. It'll be a fun 3-year journey. See ya, Dave. Do work on those enhancements for the knives. As Dave's like, yeah, see ya, boss. As Izuku quickly walks out of the laboratory, and with his very high talented training, runs over to UA very quickly and applies there. And they tell Izuku like, well, sir, in the next 3 months you'll be able to take the entrance exam. Best of luck to you. And Izuku walks away feeling happy, like, now I'll have an official alliance. Why did I say alliance? No, I'll have an official license. As, yeah, that's where I'll be leaving it off, guys. This was really fun. So, this is Itaku, signing off. Bye-bye.